Your Discord was updating. Not that you have an update for Discord.
Yeah.
Got it. We're starting on a strong one, everybody.
This is so funny, man.
All right, we ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Salutations, sailors, space pirates, and simple-minded spacefarers. Synchronize your speedometers for Splat, because it's episode 60 of the Geekoid podcast.
Splat.
The only podcast in the universe featuring myself, Eric Westland, and Jarrad Shaw. So thank you for tuning in, and we're really excited to have you this week. A week where we have done close to no preparation. So this is just going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
But there is a smattering of news. Google I.O. kicked off today. They just had their keynote. I watched it in its entirety. There's a lot of interesting tidbits dripping out of that. But before we dig into AI funk, you went and saw Mortal Kombat.
I did. The second one.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
I mean, if it was on a 1 to 10 scale, I would give it like somewhere between a 7 and 8. I thought it was great. Didn't mean to rhyme, but I did. Yeah, they they nailed it. A lot of people have said it, where it's like they took everybody's feedback and then they made the movie the way that people wanted it to be, which is going through the tournaments and how they implemented how people would phase in and phase out of the tournaments was really cool. And the story was fine. I kind of thought the story was pretty good, for, action video game movie. Carl Urban was phenomenal, and the rest of the cast were perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah,
what a ringing endorsement.
Not in a bad way. But
okay.
I watched a lot of the interviews after the fact, and it was really impressive to hear from them and from the actors and really feel that they were genuinely pumped and jazzed to do a second movie. And those who thought they had died were just as pumped and jazzed to know that they were coming back. So, and you feel that throughout the movie. It's good. Everybody should go watch it and, spread a little bit of money to them if you can to help support. Because it sounds like there's already a third script, at least pre-written, a rough script. So, and I think it's made enough money that the studio is greenlighting at least further development.
Yeah, that is super exciting that it's already being looked at greenlit. I was on edge because I didn't think the trailers really did a great job selling how awesome the movie was going to be. But to hear that audience, it's resonating with audiences. The audience score is at, I think, 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is really, really solid.
Really good.
And to hear that both you and Art both thought it was a great movie, and to hear people say it's the best Mortal Kombat movie, that's awesome. I mean, the previous one was, I thought, great. I thought it was so much fun.
Yeah, you and I and a few people, Rotten Tomatoes says a little bit differently, but I really enjoyed the first one. And this one I think was even better. Like, it still had a story that I was invested in. Carl Urban's, Johnny Cage story and Katana's story. And the bad guys, how the bad guys are going to win this fight again by cheating, because that's what they do. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. And even my small little beautiful wife, Katie, she was like, I'm pleasantly surprised. I liked the movie. And we played Technodrome on the way home.
Awesome.
And screamed Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat!
Yeah.
We should have that as a cue I could just hit.
I loved Ed Boon. My final thing is Ed Boon is there in the bar, which is in the trailer, but just seeing Ed Boon there, and Johnny Cage calls him by his real name. I thought that was great. Yeah. Nice little, and a lot of jokes. It is way funnier Baraka has plenty of jokes. Johnny Cage has plenty of jokes, and Kano has probably the funniest jokes that he just spouts at people. It's really funny. It's really
Really?
good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate that we have to wait months to see this, but maybe I can figure out a way to get into the theater. We'll see.
Speaking
Um,
of, I think so Mario Galaxy's getting close to 1 billion. I don't think it's hit it yet, but it's like 980 something. It's very close. It's not going to crest the 1.3 that the first movie did. Uh and it sounds like you'll be able to purchase the movie next week, I think.
oh wow, that's
Hmm.
real quick turnaround.
Yeah.
So one thing I did want to talk about, I saw something around movie purchases. Someone was complaining that they had purchased. I can't remember what movie it was, but it was a pretty big franchise on Amazon Prime, and they went to go watch it, and Amazon was saying, "Oh, currently this movie is unavailable," even though they had purchased it.
Oh no.
And if you are a fan of movies and purchasing cities, like I know you are, Jared,
Digitally, yeah.
um, I would encourage you to, I don't know, maybe not purchase them digitally and actually purchase the Blu-ray.
Yeah, isn't that sad? That's
It,
poopy. Well,
yeah,
we've talked about this before too with like video games. Like there's totally a catch where your digital library is no longer available.
yeah, absolutely. So it's one of those weird edge cases that we don't think about very often. But here's another reason to buy physical copies. I will say, I saw someone do an analysis looking at the breakdown of the data that is sent over Netflix for major motion pictures, and then looking at the data that you get from a Blu-ray. And yeah, on the surface, it looks comparable, but when you really get into the details, and if you're a cinephile, the difference can be staggering, especially in low light scenes where there's a lot of shadow, a lot of dark, a lot of stuff gets muted out on streaming services, and that the details just completely lost. So if you are a cinephile, and you do have a high end projector, or you're rocking a really nice, I was about to say plasma. No one's got plasmas anymore. Uh, I'm dating myself. A really, really nice monitor or TV screen. Getting a solid Blu-ray player with an actual Blu-ray might be the best way to watch movies.
Isn't that
So
crazy? We're going back. Like people are
we're
pulling
not
out
going
their
as
old
far back as
no,
record
as like
players and
no,
vinyl.
but like people are even pulling out their MP3s again, their Zooms and their old iPods and their shuffles and whatever. It's kind of nuts, man. This is a very interesting time period, and I don't think it's even like hipsterish, which is dating me on that word, but it's a new like people aren't I don't know. There's something about like this digital era and maybe with the AI, and it's really just kind of making people go, I don't know. And simplify their lives a little bit. I maybe is the other part to that.
Yeah, I mean there is something to be said about the simple interfaces from years past where you weren't being overloaded with ads and all this additional upsell and extra features. It's like I just want something that'll play music.
Yeah,
I don't need 47 ways to personalize a playlist.
yeah,
I just want to listen to a song. It's that simple. So yeah, the retro movement is pretty strong. You see kind of companies like Teenage Engineering really catching on and kind of finding their niche, and that niche is growing of just really excellent consumer hardware that doubles down on craft and excellence and doesn't focus as much on, I don't know, like the massive economics of how do we upsell and convert people into higher paying customers through this service tier or this subscription. And it's, yeah, I'm just glad that there's the economic freedom for people to pursue that and for consumers to also choose that if that's what suits their needs. So
yeah. Totally. Yeah, I am too. I mean, people are. I was even watching something, and the last gen Game Boys that were the clamshell, they
Hmm.
are hot commodities right now. They
Are they
are,
really?
yeah. And people, then there's a third party group of people who then can give you better battery life or USB-C and a better screen. And so then you can really kind of be playing Pokemon, but then, on like an OLED or an LCD, it's really like big money right now. Or what's it, the DS and the 3DS? Like, good luck finding one right now. People are just
I have
hungry to buy
one
them.
still in the box.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And along with a signed copy of Orcs and Goblins. So maybe we'll raffle that off or something.
Yeah.
I'd be down
Or
for that.
Christmas present to me. Jesus, I'd play the shit out of that.
All right. Moving right along. The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is one of the next movies on the summer docket, it's been getting some mixed feedback. I mean, there's no proper
It's
reviews
it's
yet.
positive and mixed, which I've never seen that before.
Yeah, some people are saying it's not reaching the critical fervor that you would like to feel in a summer blockbuster movie going into it. In that some people are like, oh, it should have just been another season and not a standalone movie, and maybe it might economically not succeed at the box office as a result of that. Uh,
I've heard two things where it does feel like an old school Star Wars movie, 3, 4, or yeah, 3, but 4, 5, and 6. Um, but it doesn't have that old school feel of 4, 5, and 6. And that's a weird kind of like balancing of the two things that people are throwing out. Like, I like that feel, that that adventure and heart, and that George Lucas Spielbergian kind of heart and comedy and action, but also like, yeah, it's not 4, 5, and 6. It does it belong more as a just a one-off movie TV show to be streamed? I don't know. I think we're gonna go see it because I already have, even with the news and the reviews and everything, Katie's family and a few of our friends want to go to the theater and see it. So I think we will.
Awesome. I mean, you should, and then you can.
Yeah.
So when is
Yeah.
that
This is
coming?
like,
That's just a couple weeks.
yes, that is. Hold, please. See here. Mandalorian Grogu.
Now searching for your movie
Release date.
launch date.
Oh gosh, it's like in a couple days. May 22nd.
Oh crap! It's Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend.
Oh man. Oh.
Better
Some
get your
early
tickets quick.
screenings as early as May 20th. Ugh.
A la tomorrow.
Ugh. Okay. They
All
did do a
right.
lot. I guess Favreau had an interview, and there's a lot more practical effects because they try to do as much practical as possible, which is still cool. It's a
Yeah.
dying art. And I guess there's a lot more that they had to try to figure out with this little Yoda puppet, because he does a lot more in this movie. Swimming and climbing and
Grogu has to be such an incredible engineering feat to get it to work. I really hope that over the next 5-ish years that we see some of that translation into more animatronic puppets in the parks. I think that'd be really cool. I feel like that's an area that has languished, if you will.
yeah.
They do all this work at ILM and other places to make these lifelike robots. Like, why don't you just pour all of that all over Disney Land, Disney World? Just like, why not? Like, it's one install. It's theoretically you just hook it up to Power outlets, just run, work. Just create that immersive feeling.
Just like you do your blender, your toaster oven. I mean, just, plug it in.
Exactly. Oh, man. I lots of opinions about Disneyland, but we're gonna save that for another time.
So expensive.
Um, where do we want to go from there? You got anything?
No, I was thinking about like this is like the 1 year I think I'm gonna be going to the movie theater almost every month, which is crazy. I haven't said that in years, but it's a very fascinating year. We've talked about it in the past, but with Mortal Kombat and Mario before that, and then you've got Mandalorian Grogu, you've got Minions and Monsters, you've got He-Man, and then later, I think in the fall, like October, around my birthday, is Street Fighter. And I might be missing a couple other things, but those are the hot ones that I would like to go see. And so that's fun. That's cool. That's different than normal theater going for, I think, a lot of people, including myself.
Yeah, speaking of theaters, and one release that's coming in a few months' time is the Odyssey, which is now
Oh yeah.
capturing a bucket of criticism and a lot of blowback on some casting decisions. Yeah, the biggest one is the Helen of Troy, who kicked off the whole, I believe, Peloponnesian War. They've cast it as, oh God, I'm totally drawing a blank on her name. Hold please.
Hold, please.
Choo, 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 choo. Lupita Nyong'o, who we know from Star Wars and from many other films. But main call it is she's black. And people are upset in a cast of mostly white people in the Greek Isles, which is mostly Caucasian. They're casting Helen Troy as someone of African American descent, and people are just being a little bit outraged. And then there's also talk that Elliot Page is cast in a significant role, and they're getting a lot of criticism as well, saying, how could you have this person play this kind of role? It goes against the very fabric of the story in some regards.
Oof, we're getting real deep, folks.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is what happens when we don't come prepared. We just go straight for the spice. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. No one has seen the movie. Everything is all speculation at this point. It's all
this is an adaptation of an adaptation of an
of a
old
fiction
story that, like, is it even complete? That's probably an adaptation. Like, good Lord. It's 2026 too. It's Christopher Nolan. Like, stop.
Yeah. And here's the one area that I find interesting is that did he make these casting decisions because of the Academy Awards requirements of that they have these DEI requirements if you want to win Best Picture, that you have to have certain people of race and sexual orientation, I believe, cast in certain levels of roles within your movie. And
I didn't know that.
Did he make these casting decisions simply because he wants to win yet another Academy Award and it's required? Or is he doing it for artistic reason? I think that's the biggest point of contention at the moment. It's like, has the Academy been
the Academy been, which that's interesting. But I gotta think too, he's like Quentin Tarantino and a few other directors where he recasts actors from his other movies. So like Pattinson's been in, I don't know, like one or two, and like so now he's in it again, and he likes to use these same actors over and over again. So I don't know, and he is artistic, but I gotta say it's more of the two parts. I guess the Academy, which is crazy, because yeah, you totally want another award, and then also he just has his cast. He knows his actors, and they're gonna be playing like no matter what.
Yeah, But I mean, this is a really, really huge cast. It's not like Interstellar, which was pretty narrow because the obviously the content of the movie. Um, but I think we gotta wait and see how it shapes up in the actual movie itself. I mean, here's the thing. I think it's
I
going to
think,
be a
yeah, I
very
think movies, yeah,
enjoyable
gonna be
movie.
really good. Yeah.
And if they want to cast people in different roles, then they're allowed to because they're making the movie. If you don't agree with it, don't go see the movie. It's that simple.
Yeah, this is the first Christopher Nolan movie other than Batman that I wanna go to the theater and see. Like, it's got that fantasy element and weird mythological creatures, and yeah, just, floats my geek boat, man. And Christopher Nolan's doing this? That's weird and fascinating to me. So I'm on board. It's, I guess, another movie I'm gonna go to the
Yeah,
theater and
I
see.
mean, Christopher Nolan
Dang it.
hasn't really done much in the way of fantasy, so this
No,
is
he's usually more of a sci-fi kinda guy.
yeah. So it'll be cool to see his take on all this. Another point of contention too was also the armor that one of the main warriors was wearing. Like, oh, did they just take that off the set of Batman? And because it's all sleek and black, and it does look a little bit like a Batman suit. Um, but in a discussion with during an interview, he breaks down the decision to make the armor the way it was, and the costume designers, that the length to the research that they did in the way they would mix certain metals with certain other elements to give the armor a certain look, and why this armor was unique from all the others. Because back in that time, in what 1200, 1600 BC, the resources needed to make an armor of this style would just be so much more exorbitantly expensive. Fun to hear him go into the detail defending the decision around this piece of armor that I think everybody would be so dismissive about. Be like, oh, they just want to make it black and cool and Batman looking. But it's like, no, actually, decent amount of thought went into the material choices here. So
Yeah, he's no dummy. I mean, for God's sakes, like, there's a rhyme and a
right,
reason to everything he's doing when he makes a movie.
yeah. So I'm pumped. I hope I get to see it in theaters. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, I think. So
Yeah,
all the
and we
haters, you can just hate all you want and scream into the void of X and Twitter, and no one's gonna care.
yeah. And you still have Dune 3, which, like, I can't wait to at least hear about it. I'm probably not gonna go see it, but, I'm sure it'll do gangbusters, and then you've got Doomsday that, everybody's chomping at the bit for.
But let's jump tracks and talk about AI. Google I.O. just wrapped their keynote just not even a couple hours ago. So I was tuned in, tuned into the whole thing. There's a lot of really techie stuff. I mean, the main dev keynote is tomorrow, so we'll learn more at that around some of the new models that are coming out, some of the ones that are in kind of pre-production and not even available yet. But their new Gemini 3.5 Flash, which is going to become the primary model for basically all of Google services going forward, is really, really impressive. Like, it is the same level as 3.1 Pro, but 1/10 of the cost, and I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 8 times as fast in terms of delivery speed. So it is a really, really awesome workhorse. I've already been playing around with it for, I don't know, a couple hours today, and it is just cutting through everything like a knife through hot butter. So
Ugh.
hats off to Google. They said Gemini Pro 3.5 Pro is still cooking. It'll be out next month. So it'll be cool to see how that stacks up against the other frontier models that just came out from Anthropic and OpenAI.
What's the difference between Flash and Pro?
So Flash is not as smart, but it's a lot cheaper and a lot faster. So just like the Flash in DC Comics.
No, we're the actor.
Ba-doom-ts. They also unveiled a whole slew of things coming to the wider Google product verse. That's the name I'm using for now. Probably won't stick with it. But they're basically giving Google search this massive Gemini injection. And so coming this summer, they're introducing something called generative UI in Google search that allows you to just build applications for personalized applications for yourself, for your family, for your friends, right within Google search. And
Huh?
it use yeah, you really got to go watch the video. It's like, oh, create a weekend uh camping trip recommender for me and my friends and my family. And it'll create an app for you that you can share with your friends and family that'll give you camping recommendations. It'll automatically pull in the weather, and it'll give you drive times and like everything you could possibly want to have about camping in your area or you where you plan to go. And all this from a few sentences, and it lives within the Google ecosystem. And like I said, you can share it with whoever you want. And it's taking search and flipping the whole concept on its head. And this is just the beginning. They've introduced a number of other things around agentic commerce, using agents to go and buy stuff on your behalf. And they introduced this thing called the Google Universal Cart, or just Universal Cart. And so it's basically you add stuff to your cart from anywhere, from Best Buy to PetSmart, even Amazon, and Google will use their agents running around the clock looking for price improvements, looking at what credit cards you have to see if you get discounts on those linked cards, or seeing if other coupons. It's basically like Rakuten's rebates and Ebates and Capital One shopping app, and everything you possibly could have wanted from a shopping optimizer all rolled into one little Google service. And this might actually change how e-commerce happens, which is a little bit terrifying as someone who runs an e-commerce business. When everybody has access to all the best deals all the time, uh, how does marketing play in? How does sales play into your strategy? And then like it basically changes the calculus around pricing, which is like the pricing decision has been such a big part of e-commerce and just business in general for so many decades. And this might just completely wipe it away in a season.
God.
So it's absolutely great for the for consumers, because it means you'll get the best price on whatever you're trying to buy almost all the time. But for people in e-commerce looking to make a buck, I'm thinking of how this will negatively impact my business, and it's not pretty. Thankfully, we exist in such a small niche that there's not a lot of competitors in the business we operate. So there is a little bit of an upside, but yeah, there's just a lot to unpack and the implications it's going to have. So that's going to be rolling out this summer to all Google users.
Will that help or hurt Shopify?
So the interesting thing is they've partnered with Shopify on their agentic payments kind of API, or kind of protocol, so that you can tell Google Gemini, hey, when this new blush from this boutiquerie drops next month, pick it up for me. And it'll have access to your Google Wallet, and it'll when it drops, it'll hook into whatever Shopify store, whatever store or platform that is used to sell that product. It'll go and it'll buy it, and it'll just show up at your doorstep,
Dude.
which is pretty cool.
Okay. So, consumer coolness again. Instead of us scrambling and going on 3 different websites trying to get Switch 2s, you just tell Gemini as soon as it drops, it's already snagged one for you.
That will be interesting. I don't know how that's gonna play out, because the whole system of I mean, the agents are gonna be faster than people, but I'm thinking about the way this is probably implemented on Google's side is that they are probably running these cron jobs, if you will, like just a system process that runs
Let's
e-
back
e-
up a minute. What was that word?
a cron job. So it really just means a system process that runs at a set time. So it runs every 24 hours, if you will. So every 24 hours, it'll check these different sources to see if the product is available or if it's on sale. So if the product is dropping at a specific date at a specific time, unless they build something specific to that product, I don't think this will give you the edge.
No.
That's not to
Well,
say they can't do that. TBD.
to be determined.
Yeah. So those were some of the coolest things coming out of Google I.O. really for consumers. But the big one that I want to call out is their Gemini Omni that they just announced. And the concept around this is really taking everything that Google DeepMind has been working on for the last several years and kind of rolling it all up into a single universal model. And I believe their tagline is create anything from everything. And so what they mean when they say Gemini Omni is that it's a omnimodal model so that it can absorb inputs, whether it be text, speech, video, images, and it can output anything as well. It can output text, it can output sound, it can output new programs that you can install on your computer and run in the browser or in the cloud, where it'll output video. And so it'll take anything you give it and it can output anything that you instruct. And this is a very, I don't want to say it is a very different approach than, let's say, Anthropic, which has gone hyper focused on coding and text really as the output and as the predominant inputs. So very different approaches to slightly different problems. OpenAI, they're dabbling in the Omni space, but not nearly to the same level that Google is.
I mean, which one's
And
better? Where they both have their pluses and minuses.
at the moment, they both have their pluses and minuses. So Nano Banana, which was Google's image model, was it's so fun to say though, was hands down the best model for quite some time. And that was just surpassed by OpenAI's new image model. I believe I didn't see Google's latest image model. I think they teased it. It's probably going to be coming next month along with Gemini 3.5 Pro. But they did announce a new video model as well. So I think Google is in a really good place for the whole AI race and the sprint to AGI, as we call it. I'm excited to keep using their tools. They announced a whole bunch of things for developers as well. Their Anti-Gravity 2.0, which is their development platform, all sorts of upgrades to the CLI and a number of other things. But I'm not going to get into that because I want to watch the developer keynote tomorrow. And maybe we can touch on that next week and what it means for people building software. But just all sorts of really cool stuff coming out of Google. And with Apple's WWDC dates just being announced for early next month, Apple's got a lot to follow.
Well, I kind of don't think so. I think they're going to use Gemini. We know that. And I think they're going to be an outlet for you because one of the rumors and leaks for iOS 27 is that they're openly going to allow you to choose whatever chatbot AI service you wish. As long as you download that app, you then tell your device and you tell the iOS, like, this is the one I want to use. So I think they're taking a two-pronged approach, which is get Gemini going for Siri 2.0. In the meantime, here's access. You guys all want to try it out. And so here's access to all of them. And then we'll see as it moves forward.
Okay. One thing I did forget is they also announced Gemini Spark. And
They're going to have a whole suite of these different Geminis.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It looks like it's going to end up being a competitor to OpenClaw. So basically, they take your entire Google ecosystem presence, plug it into all the things, and you just talk to it, and it does what you want it to. So I think it's going to be a little bit limited at the rollout, that it's only going to have access to the Google ecosystem of apps, but I think they're going to allow third-party plugins as well to expand to use other systems. So
What's the difference between Spark and Flash and Pro?
So Spark. So think of OpenClaw. OpenClaw, you can plug in any model you want. You can use ChatGPT, you can use Gemini, you can use Claude as the brain for it. But it's really the harness that allows it to connect to all these other programs and take action within those systems. So when I tell my OpenClaw, "Hey, send Jarrad a really creepy letter at midnight," it
Sure
has
does.
access to the email, and it goes, writes that email and sends it. So it uses the AI to and its own internal workings and knowings of the different systems to execute. So it's really the harness that gives the UI, or it gives the AI arms and legs to go do things in the real world, if you will. So this is basically their version of it. It seems a little bit dumbed down and probably safer to use because you can absolutely blow your own foot off with OpenClaw if you're not kind of smart about it. But I think this is going to be very approachable for a lot of people, and I'm excited to give it a try because I spent probably an hour this morning fixing my OpenClaw because it broke again.
Why'd it break? What happened?
It had something to do with OpenAI's Codex OAuth implementation, and a token expired, and the fallbacks were not working, and yeah, words
Okay.
and some numbers.
Yeah. All right.
Anything else we want to add before we wrap? My wife is telling me it's beautiful outside, and I should come join her and sit.
Mm, the only thing I think I probably have is probably video game related, but now I can't think of it. I know people, if, Capcom's on this winning streak of different games that they've been publishing, especially Resident Evil, and they threw out a brand new IP, Pragmata, and the initial trailers didn't look anything special. But now that it's been in people's hands, it is like a lot of people compare it to just a nice older school arcade style, but in that Capcom, very pretty engine and look. And people are really, really liking it, like 8s, 9s, and 10s. So it's a game that probably people should check out. It has a very interesting way of how you fight because they're puzzle pieces that you have to decode during the fights. And then if you decode certain things, you do different moves, and it becomes pretty second nature. It looks hard at first, but I guess it becomes very second nature extremely quickly. I guess the guy character is just this warm, supportive guy because, he's carrying this cyborg girl on his back, and the cyborg girl is cute and funny and also kicks a lot of ass. Yeah, it's probably a game people should, at least check out trailers, check out gameplay. But
Yeah, people are saying it might single-handedly jumpstart population reproduction in Japan.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sending off real big dad vibes. People want to start those families,
Yeah.
For a population that has been in decline for a while, it could help.
Yes.
And we'll leave it there, folks. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Geekquote podcast.
I like to geek out.
Yeah. But no, subscribe, thumbs up, give us the love, and give us the feedback because that's how we make this show better for you. So yeah, we got big things coming, namely a newsletter this Friday dropping for the first time ever.
Thank God. I'm so excited for that.
And you know what? We got a rebranding in the works too. That is going to be fire. And I'm hoping I get some cycles here the next couple of days to finally finish it. I feel like we're close. I feel like we're really close.
I think we're pretty much on it. It's just figuring out the one guy with his head and glasses.
Yeah. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. This is episode 60 of the Geekquote podcast from your beloved hosts, myself, Erik, and my bestie,
Jarrad.
All right.
Geek out.
Beep, beep.
end of transmission.